One of the feedback mechanisms that organizations use are engagement surveys. And from my experience, they're pretty clunky. They're an annual process, although I think some more progressive companies have tried to move to quarterly. But even quarterly, it's usually a relatively long list of questions that takes forever to get leaders to align on. And you have to do those same questions over and over and over again in order to see some kind of data over time. There's a lot of responsibility on managers to do something with that data, but it often doesn't get to them very quickly. And if a manager doesn't do something with that data, the employee is left going, why did I spend any time completing this survey? Why did anyone ask me for my opinion if they're not going to act on it? The companies that do it well and do it quickly and really do respond to the information in there, I think, are taking full advantage of it. But forget the word engagement for a second. It's a feedback mechanism. And to think that a feedback mechanism that works annually or is administered annually is providing you with really good information is only true in the moment that it happens. And the ones that are doing it quarterly are getting better information. But honestly, where I've seen interesting success is where people think of this kind of survey, this kind of gathering of feedback as something that happens all the time in a much less formal way with a much shorter cycle to get from information to reaction. I remember hearing about a company, I'm forgetting which company it was, where the CEO of the company asked every day, thumbs up or thumbs down from every employee. And based on the percentage of thumbs up or thumbs down and watching that curve, that CEO was able to reach out to the organization and say, what's going on? That's a really simple data point, but for that CEO, a very effective data point. But I think it needs to happen more often. It needs to be less formal, less clunky, faster return so that we can act on it real time. It's not about getting it 100% right, maybe not even 80% right. It's about getting some data all the time that you can respond to. I have seen, and this is probably the worst example I ever saw, one leader who did an annual survey. This was an HR professional who saw the results of the survey and hid it from the organization because he didn't like what he saw. Like, how is that valuable to anyone? The employees walk away going, we wasted our time. The managers don't get data to make a change. Obviously, this leader saw something that the organization needed to respond to, but chose to walk away from it for whatever reason. Forget the clunky nature. Yeah, that is part of the more formal annual process. Think of it more about as it's another form of feedback that employees need, and the quicker you can get that feedback to them and the more often you can provide that feedback, the less formal it is, the more people will actually respond to it and do something effective with it.